Hello, happy Saturday. We're just getting started with this live stream. I just got a new microphone, so I'm testing that out right now. If you're watching this video, let me know how it sounds. The cord's a little short, so if I do knock over my camera during the video, I do apologize. I'm just trying to get used to this. Anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Today we're doing another issue of the Star Wars Insider. This one's kind of falling apart on me, so don't be surprised if I end up pulling off the front cover to prevent that. So this time we've got issue 89. This is from September and October of 2006. Of course, you got everyone's favorite scoundrel, Han Solo, on the cover there. So let's go ahead and get started. Yeah, again, great cover art there. I got some other stuff pictured at the top. You know, The Art of War, Boba Fett fiction, Han Solo, Our Kind of Scum, Force and Effect, yeah, Pirates, yeah. You can see everything there. You got the hyperspace logo in the bottom corner. Back cover has an ad for a Star Wars miniatures game. You got Jake Lloyd from Episode 1 as young Anakin, and then the adult Darth Vader in his prime. Inside the front cover, you have Star Wars Evolution. Looks like this is a trading card series. And then you got, again, Han Solo here on the table of contents page. And then in the back cover, you've got some, Entertainment Earth stuff. I'm going to take the cover off of this just because, unfortunately, it's the cover's fallen off, so it makes more sense just to remove it. Okay, so we'll get inside now. You have the letter from the editor here, as well as something called Dragonlance. Looks like this is a fantasy book series. I noticed there's not a whole lot of people logged in right now. I think my live stream was actually set for the wrong time. I think I hit AM instead of PM, but again, noon is always the correct time, noon Pacific. And you got this same Sith, different day article here. And people are looking at, sending in their questions. And you got people here, just asking things like giving comments on the Sith issue. That's the one that we looked at last week. And they talk about, funny character names and so forth. It's also an ad here for Cloud City Collectibles. There's an ad here for a game called Time Shift. Not a game that I've ever played, but looks pretty cool based on the article. Yeah, Los Angeles to host Star Wars Celebration 4. Of course, you have all these different, conventions and things going on. And the Star Wars Celebration ones are always pretty popular for obvious reasons. If Star Wars wasn't popular, obviously I wouldn't be doing these videos. And then they got something here called The Dark Side of the Death Star. They got an FAQ Q&A thing with Peter Mayhew, the original Chewbacca actor, who sadly passed away a few years ago. And then they got, some musical projects. They've got Gnarls Barkley performing at 2006 MTV Awards with, I guess, him in a Vader outfit. And then they got to look at, this is called the Jedi Library. They have promos for books. They got an ad for a book called Legacy of the Force Bloodlines, with an excerpt here from the book written by Karen Travis. I believe she also did the Republic Commando books. And then we have, over here, a look at a book for Darth Bane, the ancient Sith Lord. Again, this stuff here predates Disney acquiring Lucasfilm by many years, so a lot of these old EU things are obviously no longer canon. Yeah, The Emperor's Final Fate. what's this about a resurrected emperor? Because I know a lot of people complained about Palpatine coming back on the Rise of Skywalker, but he actually came back from the dead in the old expanded universe too, in a series called the Dark Empire that was, comic books. So this is a look at that. And then some other things here, some other elements, including Luke turning to the dark side, which he actually briefly does in that Dark Empire comic. Here we have a 2-page spread for Brian's Toys. This, of course, being a really big toy store. Seems like this place advertises in just about every issue. Here's a close-up so you can see some of the figures they're selling. Yeah, ILM sizzling Mustafari in summer. 2006 is the first year without a new Star Wars movie in production in over a decade. So here they're just talking about some of the history of the franchise and some of the other things that ILM has worked on. Again, when George Lucas was making the original movie, there wasn't a company that existed to make the special effects he wanted, so he started his own company, Industrial Light and Magic, ILM, and they still to this day do most of the special effects stuff in Hollywood, and it all looks very good for the most part. And here's a look at the movie Poseidon that they did special effects for. Again, that movie being a remake of the Poseidon Adventure from back in the day. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, that being the second of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. And of course, Disney would later acquire Lucasfilm. They got some merchandise here, including bookends, statues of Boba Fett and the Rancor, and then, Jabba the Hutt and some mini busts of the clone troopers. They got to look at Darth Vader's Sith Starfighter here, studio scale Millennium Falcon, some Force effects and Force action lightsabers. Also an ad for a memorabilia convention down there. And if anyone out there is watching this, let me know if it sounds okay, because like I said, I actually am using a new remote, or rather a new microphone. Ready to dig up that old fossil, and this has to do with the releases of the films on DVD, which also included non-anamorphic discs of the original theatrical cuts. Sadly, those looked really bad, and like I said, they were non-anamorphic, but that is like the only official release on a semi-modern digital format of the classic trilogy. Here's a look at some of the changes that were made between the special editions and the earlier versions. You got, the infamous Han and Greedo shooting sequence. You got the sequence of Jabba the Hutt and Han Solo conversing that was added to A New Hope. You got the scene where Han chases stormtroopers and is confronted by a room full of them, which was made to be several more in the special edition. Special effects that were added to Mos Eisley to make it seem more livable. And then adding some of the CG windows in Cloud City so it looks a little more exotic and interesting. Here they talk about the other movies in the series, including adding the Wampa ice creature, more footage of it to Empire Strikes Back. And then, Cy Snoodles, the alien dancer, who gets replaced with a CG version in Return of the Jedi Special Edition. And then you have, of course, Sebastian Shaw's Force Ghost being replaced by Hayden Christensen, which if you've read the canon comics, it actually somewhat makes sense. And then they got an article on Lauren Peterson, one of the ILM employees from back in the day. Yeah, Underworld, a galaxy of scum and villainy. And you're talking about the Bounty Hunters Guild, the Hutt guilds, and things like that. And they got some art here. This looks like could have been something from the Shadows of the Empire project. You got one of the Faline species there, which is the species the villain in Shadows of the Empire belonged to. And here's more stuff from various personalities from throughout the galaxy, mostly like villainous characters or those that are like right on the borderline. And here that's just continued. They got some more art here that's actually pretty good. Escape from Cloud City. We got some of the filming here, as well as some changes that were made for the special edition, including adding this nice little balcony here that looks pretty cool. The Art of War. This is pretty cool here. We have some art of, I'm guessing these are like, dark side users or maybe like ancient Sith. What does this say? Yeah, talking to illustrator Jan Dursema. Hope I'm pronouncing that name right. Here's some more art from this guy. I don't know if these were just like promotional art pieces or if this was actually for a comic book that was done, but his art looks very nice. And I'm sorry if I do cough a little bit during this video. I am getting over a cold. Here's some more art here, as well as some new ships for a new empire. And it says, handpicked by Dark Horse editor. So this must have been in the older, no longer canon comics. Yeah, Marvel did the original Star Wars comics, then Dark Horse Comics made them for probably about 2 decades, and then about a decade ago, Marvel got the rights back, and all the canon comics have come from them. Although there are those Star Wars Adventures comics for younger audiences, and those do come from a different company. Yeah, maybe Luke was a bad pilot after all, it says here. Is Luke X-Wing in Episode 6 the same one as Episode 4? How did he retrieve it from Bespin? And it says right here that it's not the same X-Wing fighter, if only because the expanded universe has a downright chronic habit of having Luke crash land in the early years of Marvel publishing. However, that's completely been retconned with the new canon. He did get his X-Wing back from Bespin in the canon Star Wars comic that's set between Empire and Return of the Jedi. And then here you got stuff about 3PO translating stuff. And then they're talking about someone apparently used vulgar language in the Ewok movie. With got a picture of Wilford Brimley there. So, yeah, but people hear what they want to hear. The dialogue said in that scene is, "Ah, come on." I don't know what they thought were said. Talking about some alien species in the background here. They talk about X-Wings and TIE fighters being used as Easter eggs in Attack of the Clones. And then, communications via the Force. They talk about, Emperor Palpatine's Grand Vizier, Sate Pistage. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. Was he ever meant to appear in the films? And if so, did he actually appear? They said he was in the draft of Empire Strikes Back. And then they show the Emperor's advisors down here who actually do appear in Return of the Jedi, but apparently that character is not among them. In the canon universe, the Grand Vizier is, at least in the canon that they have now, is Mas Amedda, who's the guy that's always with Palpatine when he's shown in the prequels, the big blue guy with the horns on his head. But obviously in the old canon, in the old expanded universe, things were a little different. The one that almost got away, they got to look at Jar Jar and Carbonite here, and they've got some people in Stormtrooper costumes, and they got some, like signed card memorabilia here. They got a Star Wars swing set pictured here. And then there's like an early script, and there's some, looks at Ewoks. Yeah, bricks, whips, and spaceships. Here they're talking about the Lego Star Wars video games. And I think there's, I'm not sure if they're still making Lego Star Wars games, but for a while those were very popular and, all the rage, because they had classic Star Wars stories, but they had a lot of humor in there too, and they were pretty accessible, which was nice. Star Wars Empire at War, Forces of Corruption expansion. This is not a game that I've played, but there's some screenshots and things. Star Wars Untitled Next Gen games. Here they're talking about someone with force powers and things. It shows a guy with 2 lightsabers. Presumably, this is the Force Unleashed, the game that has Vader's apprentice, Starkiller. And then there's an ad here for an Indiana Jones game as well. Yeah, what is the story? Here they have a section about some of the other background characters. Like they have another 3PO droid pictured here. There's something like a blog thing here from Daniel Logan, the kid that played young Boba Fett in Attack of the Clones. Then they talk about, radio dramas here. Radio dramas aren't really a thing anymore, but back when the original movies came out, they were still at least somewhat a thing. Here's some random art drawn by, it looks like, various artists. There's an article here on how to draw a Tusken Raider. I'm not really an artist myself, so I don't know if I'll ever try that. Yeah, Bantha Tracks, by the fans, for the fans, Padawan edition. Looks like this is mostly people that have their kids with them who are Star Wars fans. And there's some cool like costumes, poses, accessories, stuff like that. And that's continued on this page. And then they got that same article they've had in the last few issues where you can actually order Star Wars personal checks, and those look very nice. Yeah, editorial here, some Star Wars memories, looks like from the staff of the magazine and Lucasfilm. Yeah, Hyperspace, the official fan club that you had to join to get the magazine. And they got an ad for Star Wars shop here with a silver Darth Vader statue. Collector's picks. You got some other miscellaneous merchandise that they were pushing at the time. Watches, t-shirts, figures, collectibles. And they got more toys and the like on this page. They've even got a Mr. Potato Head Stormtrooper here. iPod cover, got a Vader hockey jersey, DVD releases, yeah. Some other accessories and some fun stuff as well. And then on the back, there's a few other items. You got a C-3PO Pez dispenser there. They got Darth Vader's TIE Fighter. And like I said, the cover sort of fell off this. That's why I took it off earlier. But anyway, that about does it for this issue of the Star Wars Insider. For next week's live stream, and I think for this one I might have set the time wrong, and that's why this one's had kind of a low turnout. But for next week's episode, we got issue 90. This has the residents of Utapau on the cover. So, and this is the last Star Wars Insider that I own. So after this, we'll have to look at some other magazines. I actually did find, when I was at my parents' house last, I found these Game Informer magazines. So we'll probably be looking at these in some of the next few weeks as well. So I don't know if anyone actually has tuned in or is watching the live stream right now, but were there any parting shots, any comments on Star Wars, on this magazine that you might want to share? If you got anything at all you want to share with me, just feel free to chime in and post a comment. It has been kind of quiet today, but again, I think I posted this for 12 a.m. instead of 12 p.m., and now I'm on at the correct time that I was meant to be on, and that might have thrown some people off. But again, as with all of my live streams, this one will be available for later viewing if you want to check it out. So, last call if anyone has any questions, comments, etc. And it's really not looking that way, so I'm going to go ahead and end the stream at this time. I want to give a great big thank you to anyone that did tune in today. Hope the new microphone sounds okay. And I will see you guys on my stream next weekend. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'm posting movie reviews and unboxings as well as music stuff. And I've also got my ongoing series, The Battle Jacket Kit, as well. So please give me a subscribe, give me a like, and I'm definitely looking forward to sharing some more stuff with you guys in the future. See you next week.